What's up, everybody? It's Spencer Alessi, and this is the Esports Narrative. This is episode 7, and today I'm talking with Carman Lamb. Carman, a University of British Columbia alum, co-founded the Collegiate Esports organization UBCEsports in 2012. She personally managed the UBCEsports League of Legends team for the last 5 years and worked closely with Riot on their collegiate program from time to time. Carman, welcome to the show. Tell the podcast listeners a little bit of what I maybe left out, and tell us how you got into esports.
Hi, Spencer. Thanks for inviting me to your show. And all the listeners, hi. Well, I first started with UBC Esports because I was a university student back then in 2012. Before we started the Collegiate Club UBC Esports Association, we actually formed a team in 2011 first, and I was playing on that team casually, and then when we formed the organization, I decided to manage instead of playing so that I could put more time into building up the club.
Awesome. Now, what was it like managing a League of Legends team, and what were kind of some of your responsibilities, or what did you have to do for the team?
I did everything except for playing. It was almost like babysitting, and I'm quite used to that in real life as well because I'm like the oldest child of my generation in my family. All of my cousins and siblings are younger than me. Well, just one sibling, my younger brother. So I was taking care of the team in any way I could outside the game. So that went from like signing up for tournaments, scheduling scrims, to even talking to the players' professors if they need to reschedule a midterm in order to participate in a tournament if we're flying somewhere. At tournaments, I would be running around taking the pictures. I was also kind of the social media person for the team as well. Yeah. And even just getting them drinks and food. Sure. I know when we were at Boston playing for the Collegiate Championships of 2016 at PAX East, our ADC forgot his wireless mouse receiver so that I had to like find it for him. And then when we flew to Korea, he forgot it then as well. So he had to use something else for the first match. We were all at the venue already. And then I took a taxi back to the hotel to grab it from his hotel room, and then went back in time for the second match so that he could use the wireless mouse that he's used to using.
That's got to be the worst. Like you go to an event and you forget like one of the most important pieces of your equipment, your mouse. That's got to be nerve-wracking.
Yeah, and actually I was thinking that I need to remind him when we were in Korea because I know he's going to like forget it at one point during the tournament. I need to remind him, but there was actually so much going on the first day of the tournament because almost our whole team had food poisoning from really spicy Korean food. And they were like really not, I guess they were really not used to the spice, that kind of spiciness. It's kind of a spice that they haven't tried before. So it upset their stomach, and almost everyone on our team had food poisoning except for me and like our mid-lane player.
That sounds like not a fun food
so
experience.
I basically hold their hand through every step of the way until they are on stage in match, and then that's
now. Now, what is it like in the collegiate scene? And now, 2012 or 2011, when you first started, it was still kind of a new thing to play in the collegiate level, like play competitive video games, the collegiate level. Did players ever get a lot of flack for that, or what was that like when it first started out?
Our players didn't really get a lot of flack. It was more casual, a little bit competitive, because back then when the scene was just starting out, there wasn't huge prize pools, right? And the only flack I think they would get is just from their parents for saying that like they're playing too much video games. But in the community and on campus, no, not really.
No.
It was just like another hobby.
Yeah. Because it's always interesting to see, as esports continues to become more mainstream and there's more collegiate organizations participating, it's interesting to see kind of the history and how that's come about. Now, what does esports mean to you? If you had to define it or describe what esports was to someone who wasn't familiar with it, what would you say?
Esports to me is a lifestyle in video games. Playing it competitively or enjoying it competitively. I mean, there's so much more to esports than just competition as well. But esports to me equates to competitive video games. I'm someone who's a bit competitive. I might not compete myself, but I enjoy experiencing the competition, even if someone else is competing. So I like being involved in some way of video game competitions.
Yeah, not only is it participating and competing yourself, but it's also spectating and watching those competitive matches too.
Right. It's really very similar to someone enjoying sports, watching or playing. You could watch or play esports.
Mm-hmm. Now tell me, what's been the worst moment for you so far in esports?
Worst moment? No one has ever asked me that before.
I know it's hard to draw on your weaknesses or your failure moments, but if you could remember something.
Okay, it was the worst moment. Okay, I can think of two. One was probably the worst moment, but then it turned into our favorite. So it was when we were qualifying for the live event of the back then it was called the NACC, the North American Collegiate Championship, in 2014, and we played against our crosstown rivals SFU for the spot. We lost, but we knew that one of their players was illegally ringing, and we just went through so much stress trying to, just find evidence, make sure that that Riot Games knows the truth and everything.
Uh-huh.
And some of the players were close to the SFU players as well. So it was really stressful for both sides. And it was kind of an emotional turmoil for us. Yeah. And
now
they did end up getting disqualified, so that we did fly off to LA and play. So that was the good thing. But I remember I got no sleep for 2 days just trying to communicate with SFU, the crosstown rival school, and with Riot Games and the tournament organizers to sort everything out.
Yeah. Now, turning the page a little bit and going on a more positive note, what's been the biggest accomplishment for you so far?
I would say winning first place in 2016. 2015. Yeah. Well, 2014 we disqualified SFU and we lost in the Final Four to SJSU, and then next year we came back and won first, and then that was 2015, this team the first time we won first place.
And what championship was that?
That was also the NACC.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. NACC rebranded to ULOL Campus Series, and then I think it rebranded again this year to League of Legends Collegiate Championship, LLCC.
Now, what was it like to come back from kind of that disappointing showing to come back and win it?
It was the best feeling our team ever felt. I can probably say that about every single player and support staff on our team. It was the best because we finally proven ourselves. Before then, we were always like a top 4 or top 8 team in every tournament we participated. And then that year we won everything, and we continued winning everything for 2 years straight.
Nice.
So it was the best feeling ever because we really proved ourselves in those 2 years.
Exactly. It always feels good to pick yourself up from the dirt and brush yourself off and come back and dominate next time. Why is esports so exciting?
I personally think it's exciting because it's a community hobby. It's really social. It's really competitive. It brings people together from all over the world. If you're not into EU esports, at least it unites all the fans in NA. So that's what's exciting to me. It's so global and widespread now. But even though it's kind of niche, once you're immersed into it, it feels so widespread.
Now, this part of the show I call the 5-question combo breaker. I'm going to ask you 5 questions. Just give me what comes to your mind. Feel free to elaborate more than just one word if you'd like.
Okay.
But best advice someone has ever given you?
The best advice someone's ever given me is to step down. So it was really difficult being one of the founders, starting everything from almost nothing to where we are now. And even I was still very much involved with the club and the team, less so the club management side and more so the team management side, because I started the team before a club even formed. So I think it really helps, especially at the collegiate level, if the system does not revolve around a few key people, so that you can grow your organization and grow your team for the years to come.
Yeah, that's really good advice of not being reliant on any one individual person, because if they leave or they take other opportunities, then what are you left with, right?
Right.
What do you think the esports industry needs to continue to grow and be successful?
I feel like the esports industry is still very immature. The fans are very immature. That's just the one thing I don't like about it. And for it to grow, I would like to see more effort from game developers. Sorry, did I cut off or anything?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay, sorry. For the industry to grow, I would like to see more effort from the developers, game developers. I'm not that well knowledge in other games, only League of Legends in particular. So from Riot Games, more effort with things like their website and just getting information out there in one place so that not just for fans, but like investors or other industry individuals from esports, from other fields, so that they can have that information in their hands without having to reach out to an expert.
Mm-hmm. What's been the most memorable moment for you in esports?
Most memorable moment in esports for me would be when we flew to Korea and competed against teams from other countries and won. We beat a Korean team. That would be the most memorable moment.
Awesome. Share a valuable resource that's been beneficial to you in your career. It could be anything.
Oh. That's quite difficult for the collegiate scene. There's not much resource out there. Yeah, I'll really have to think about that one.
What would be something that you contribute to being able to manage a team? Like, was there anything that you did in particular from, like a technique side to help you manage a team? Did you use, a lot of technology to help you manage teams? Like, did you use specific apps or anything like that? Like, some people are really into, task apps or note-taking apps and things like that, or maybe some team management stuff or team communication apps like Slack.
Yeah, I'm really interested in like the administration process that I have to do as a manager, but I believe everyone has different ways of organizing their files and notes and everything. So one tip that I would like to share is just go to any local events if you want to network and get any help with managing your team, because that's how we recruited our data analyst. He worked with the Canadian men's basketball team as a data analyst, and he was a instructor at a different college, and now he's working with one of the LCS teams. So he was a very valuable asset to our team, a very key person that we would not have met just on campus. We met him at a anime convention in town. So if teams or organizers want to look for people who might be interested in providing their services or knowledge, just talk to people at events. It could be a networking event, social event, or just a hobby event, and then find some way to connect with people by initiating the topic of esports or video games.
Yeah, your network and who you know and who you interact with is so important, and that goes for any industry or any line of work. If you're trying to do something, it's all about relationships.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not full-time in esports, so I can really tell the difference. Even though I've been doing esports sort of part-time on a flexible schedule because I'm working full-time in property management, a lot of the people I know is from esports because I've been spending a lot of my extracurricular time on esports while I don't have that many connections actually for my full-time career, because that's just what I do during the day to get the income flowing. But I spend all my extra time researching esports, going to esports events, and yeah.
Now, if you could be in esports full time, is that something you would be interested in doing? Is that something that you're still pursuing, or are you pursuing other opportunities?
I have always been thinking of it since I started the UBC Esports Club. It is something I'm actually actively looking into now. I recently left my job in property management so that I can really discover what I want to do for a career. Yeah.
Now going back to your championship win with the League of Legends team, what do you think is one habit or a daily habit that was the biggest factor to you guys winning that?
I would say one habit is just good communication, in game and outside of the game. All of our players we had to make sure that they were always on the same page, and if they were not prioritizing, say, team practices in one of the weeks because they really had to cram for school, they had to let us know. They had to let everyone know, and so that there aren't any misunderstandings, like people are second guessing each other. We don't want any of that. We made sure that we really put our practices. We made sure that we really put or made efficient use of our practice time, because as a college student, they didn't have much time to practice, and we had to not only get 5 players on at the same time, we also had to get 2 or 3 of our support staff on. So that's like 7 or 8 people. And we had to make sure that everyone understood that we're not wasting anyone's time.
Now, we'll close out the show with you giving us your perspective, Carman, on what it takes to be, what it really takes to get into the esports industry. Like if someone is kind of really interested about it, whether it's someone who's going at the collegiate aspect of it or another avenue, what would be your advice for someone who just really wants to get into esports and do something in it?
I would say to just keep talking about it. Ask questions if you don't know what to talk about. Ask questions about what you would want to know, what you would want to teach if one day you do have the knowledge to be able to talk to other people about esports. And again, it's just getting to know people, networking. Some people will say to produce content or write content, but that I feel like you would need to be in the industry for a while before, for me at least, I'm not a good content creator. So I would need more experience to be a content creator in order to really be. Sorry, can you repeat the question? I kind of like trailed from one point to like another point.
No, that's great advice for someone that's trying to get started.
Yeah, for someone who's just shortening that is for someone who's just starting is to just keep talking about it and asking questions. Mm-hmm. If you don't know what to talk about, ask more questions.
Yeah, you can never. The only dumb question is the one you don't ask, right?
Yeah, and if you want to find something to talk about in esports, it's so easy to pick it up just by yourself, even if you don't network. Networking is definitely a part of being successful and growing your career. But if you're just starting out, you could just watch esports matches on live streams, or play the game yourself, of course, and learn why people enjoy playing it, why people enjoy watching it.
Mm-hmm. I think a big part of it is the consumer aspect of it, and what, like you just said, is really important, is why people watch other people play video games, why they spend money to support people who stream and play video games. That consumer attention, that consumer behavior, I think is really important, and I think it's understanding that and being able to innovate on that and create and be creative inside of that realm that's going to propel esports forward.
Yeah, and to me, it's not just at the level of consuming esports, but it's a fandom. People who consume esports people who consume esports are going to be fans of esports. They are always exposing themselves to the games and to the matches.
Yeah, esports fans are passionate. It's
right.
Very visceral
it's almost,
industry.
Like, that's why I said it's like a lifestyle and subculture.
Yeah. Now, share with the podcast listeners where they can engage with you online.
Oh, okay. Well, on Instagram, I guess I'll start with Twitter. That's how I met you. Twitter is my in-game name, Chiyuk, CHIYEUK. You can probably find me with that tag almost anywhere. It's related to gaming. I've just recently changed my Instagram username, actually just yesterday, which is CARMUNLAM. So it's my full name, except my first name is not spelled MAN, it's spelled MUN, because legally it's MAN, but Carman Lam is taken on a lot of social media sites, so I decided to stylize it with a U.
We'll make sure to link that all up in the show notes as well.
Yeah, great. Oh, I have Snapchat too. It's also CHIYEUK, and it's open to public.
Great. We'll put that in the show notes and make sure everybody who wants to interact or engage with you has the links there. And with that, I just want to thank you for being on the show, Carman. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun get your insights and sharing this time with you and talking about esports and collegiate esports. And I appreciate you sharing your esports narrative with all of the listeners.
Thank you. I really enjoyed my time on the show and enjoyed some of your questions that I haven't been asked before. They were all great questions, but some were even like another level.
With that, I just want to remind everyone that if this all goes as planned, this show is just the beginning. Thank you, listeners. I really appreciate you. It would mean the world to me if you subscribed and shared the show. Your word of mouth is amazing.